Your first mistake as an undercover cop is believing the lie ends when the operation ends. You are sitting across from someone who calls you a friend. They trust your laugh, your nickname, your story. They do not know your real name is locked in a file they will never see. And the worst part is not that they believe you. The worst part is that a small piece of you enjoys being believed by someone you may help destroy. Today, you start at the bottom. By the final level, you will not just investigate people. You will rent out your identity and then try to prove you still own it. You manage pressure. Keep calm when the room changes mood. Avoid promises you cannot keep. Say enough to stay inside, but not enough to become what you are pretending to be. One night, the room goes quiet for no obvious reason. Someone asks if you are nervous. The question is casual. The silence around it is not. Here is the uncomfortable part. Fear keeps you alive, but fear cannot be allowed to introduce you. Level 1. At this level, courage is not feeling brave. It is acting ordinary while every cell in your body is voting to leave. The case handler says you can walk away if it gets too dangerous. But walking away may collapse months of work and expose people who believed your lie. Safety is no longer simple. So here is the harder question. How much deception should law enforcement be allowed to use before the cure starts resembling the disease? You move up when the investigation stops being about getting inside and starts being about what your inside life can prove. Level 6. Case Builder. The rookie in plain clothes. You are still undercover in memory, even when the room is legal, clean, and bright. You help turn moments into evidence. You explain context, protect sources. Prepare for people to attack not just your case, but your character. Then the defense asks who you really were, not your badge, not your assignment, you. They suggest the lie went too far, that you created the trust you now use as proof. You are not deep undercover yet. At lower levels, the lie protects you. At this level, the lie is put on trial. You thought the hardest part was fooling suspects. Sometimes the hardest part is explaining yourself to people who were never in the room. Now the case can end, but your nervous system does not accept the paperwork. Your body still scans rooms. Your sleep still rehearses old conversations. And yes, this is the debate. If the truth is discovered through deception, does that make the truth weaker or just more expensive? If you keep climbing, you stop being only the person inside the lie. You are learning the smallest version of the lie. You become the person who teaches others how not to disappear in it. Level 7. Veteran Undercover Operator. You have lived under names that were never yours and watched pieces of yourself answer to them. You train younger officers. Review risk. Spot the ones who want the thrill too badly. Protect the ones who are good enough to be swallowed by the role. A new officer tells you their cover story perfectly. Too perfectly. Your job is mostly patience. They are excited. They think the danger is being caught. You know the deeper danger is being believed. That is the final rule. The role is a tool, not a home. The moment it starts feeling like home, someone has to pull you back. The job does not only ask if you can lie. It asks whether you can stop. Outside the job, honesty feels strangely exposed. A simple question at dinner makes you pause. You observe. Not because you have something to hide, but because hiding became a reflex. So your life as an undercover cop was never really about becoming someone else. It was about renting out your identity and hoping you could get it back. Remember the diner. The person across from you called you a friend. At level 1, that sounded like success. At level 7, you understand why it was also the wound. Everyone wants dangerous people stopped. But the undercover life leaves a colder question. Can you use deception for justice without teaching your own soul to prefer the mask? You listen. If you started at the bottom, you wanted to catch bad people. If you reached the top, you learned the harder truth. The most dangerous cover is not the one they believe. It is the one part of you starts missing when it is gone. The final level is not surviving the operation. It is answering your real name without checking which life you are in. You learn how to be present without looking like a question mark in human form. Your first assignment feels almost boring. Stand near a shop. Buy something cheap. Do not stare. Do not act like police. That last part is harder than anyone warned you. That is the first dark rule. Suspicion often starts in your body before it starts in your words. If you look like you are pretending, people do not need proof. You thought undercover work meant inventing a character. First, it means removing the cop from your shoulders. You go home and realize the job followed you. You notice exits at restaurants. You study strangers without meaning to. Normal conversation starts feeling like a scene you might have to survive. You move up when people stop testing whether you look like police and start testing whether your story has weight. Level 2. The street level cover. Now you have a name that is not yours, a past that never happened, and a reason to be in rooms where trust is currency. You build casual contact. You listen more than you speak. You let people underestimate you. You learn which questions sound natural and which questions sound like a report pretending to be a conversation. One night, someone asks a simple question about where you grew up. It should be easy, but your real answer almost reaches your mouth first. Here is the part people miss. A weak lie needs details. A strong lie needs habits. You do not just memorize a cover. You have to live inside its rhythms. At this level, the danger is not that they catch your lie. It is that you start performing it better than your real life. Your friends think you are distant. Your family thinks you are moody. You cannot explain that you spent the night being liked by people you may eventually betray. You move up when a stranger begins to trust you for reasons that would hurt them if they knew the truth. Level 3. The trusted contact. You are no longer background noise. People now remember your name, invite you back, and expect you to act like you belong. You maintain relationships. Keep your story consistent. Report what matters. Avoid pushing too hard. Make every conversation feel like it was their idea. Then someone confides in you. Not about a case. About their kid, their rent, their fear. For 1 second, they stop being a target and become a person who thinks you are safe. That is the brutal rule. In undercover work, trust is both evidence and damage. The more they believe in you, the more useful you become. And the more useful you become, the less innocent the word useful feels. This is where the comment section should split. If someone trusts you because of a lie, does the reason for the lie make it clean? Or did you still take something from them that can never be returned? You move up when the job stops being a disguise and becomes a second life with consequences. Level 4. Long-term assignment. Now your cover has bills, habits, friendships, grudges, and a version of you that other people expect to see every day. You maintain the character across weeks or months. You remember what your cover likes, who they know, what they would never say, and which parts of yourself must stay buried. One night, someone remembers your fake birthday. They buy you a cheap cupcake with a name that does not exist. Everyone laughs. You laugh too, because the character would. Now here is the real reversal. The lie gets easier when people believe it. It gets harder when people care about it. You are not just hiding your identity anymore. You are accepting affection meant for someone who is not real. At home, your real phone feels foreign. Your own name sounds too formal. You start wondering which version of you is pretending harder. Level 5. High-risk infiltration. Now the people around you do not just test your story. They test your nerve.